Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back here for Hit or Quit, the podcast where we watch the weirdest and wildest reality TV out there. And it's been game show month so far on Hit or Quit. Last week, we watched the new Fox singing sensation, We Are Family. And today we stayed on the Fox network to talk about the new Rob Lowe hosted game show, The Floor. And now back with us, a woman who makes everything we talk about lava. It's Jenny Autumn. Jenny, how are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm excited to talk about a show with my, I guess, second favorite host named Rob.
Yeah.
Because,
Jenny.
you.
Yeah. Thank you.
I mean,
Thank you.
there could be other
Literally.
people named Rob that host a show that I like more than Rob Lowe. So I shouldn't even maybe say second, but he's second to you at least.
Yeah, Rob Lowe is very busy across the Fox family of networks these days.
What
And
else is
he
he
is the
doing?
host. He's got a lot of shows. So he is host of The Floor, where there are people who are battling in their areas of expertise as they try to identify pictures of things as fast as possible. And Jenny, I love The Floor.
I'm right there with you, Rob. I love The Floor. Okay, here's the thing. Game shows are hard. I don't find all game shows very engaging. I love playing games. I love games. I'm that girl at the gathering that's like, we should play a game. I want to be doing activities that bring us together and talk. So I love games. However, I don't find all game shows super fun and engaging. And I think that's, We Our Family last week, I was a little hard on it. It was a little cheesy.
Yeah.
And I just came out of many months of watching some really good, competition style reality television. We had House of Villains was excellent. We had an amazing season of Survivor. We had the unexpected Big Brother reindeer games, which was super fun. So I just came out of a fall and early winter of an embarrassment of riches. And, We Are Family didn't really do it for me. I wasn't too jazzed about it because when you say, oh, it's like Claim to Fame and The Masked Singer, I'm like, okay, I can get behind that. But it was the worst part of both shows. Anyway, so I'm tempering any expectations going into The Floor because I'm like, it's another game show. It's also on Fox. Maybe I just don't like watching game shows anymore. I loved The Floor. I will say, I don't know that it's we could talk about
I don't know.
We can break this down.
About. Okay.
I mean, there's enough. I think we should talk about the concept and what we saw in these first two episodes. I don't think it's the kind of show that you could do a recap of every week. But I thought it's an interesting new concept for a game show. I had a great time watching it, and I'm planning to continue watching it.
Yeah.
So I thought it was fun.
Set the DVR to record The Floor. It's the new sensation that our short attention span brains have been craving because it's not exactly Jeopardy. Basically, the game of The Floor is we're just going to show you pictures of things. Say what this is.
Yes.
It's flashcards. Yeah. Here. What is this, Jenny? What is this? What Jenny, what is this?
Pen.
Yes.
Ballpoint pen.
What is this?
Coffee cup.
Yes. Okay.
What else you got? Come on, Rob. You got. Oh wait. Rob.
Post-it.
Yes.
Yeah. Markers.
Yeah. There you go.
This is The Floor.
That is a simplification. You're missing all the nuance, but yes, that is essentially what is happening. That is, instead of trivia questions that you have to answer in the form of a question like a Jeopardy, but it is trivia in that it involves knowing bits about a lot of different things. Yes, you have to have a specialty. Yes, you should probably have one particular thing that you know really well. But
Yeah.
that's not what's interesting about the floor is that alone is not enough to help you succeed. You should actually know a
Everything.
fair bit about a lot of things.
Yeah.
But perhaps the best offense is a great defense, and if you have a really strong specialty that is not something that a lot of people know about, that is extra good. But you cannot be good with just being an expert on one single thing,
Right.
because you gotta battle people. Anyway, I
Okay.
think there's a
Well,
lot of nuance to the
yeah,
show.
let's set the stage a little bit for people who are listening who did not watch any episodes of The Floor. The
Yeah.
Floor is hosted by Rob Lowe, as we mentioned, and there are
Mhm.
81 contestants to
9
start
by
off the
9.
season. These contestants are basically, did they film all the episodes like in one day? Do you think?
No, because they make reference. I think each episode is one day. So because
Really?
they make
That it
yeah,
seems
because
like
they make
I bet they could
reference.
film 5 episodes in a day.
They could, and maybe they do. Maybe they do
I
a
bet they
couple
could film the
episodes in
whole
a
season of
night.
The Floor in 24 hours.
So I wondered that, but then so I watched the last week's episode first to set the stage, right? And then we watched last night's episode, the second one.
Yeah. That one
And
guy
I
is
noticed
wearing a pink suit in both episodes.
maybe they have their outfits so that there's like maybe they have to wear the same thing so it's like they're recognizable throughout the
Mhm.
like the show, because it's the same people throughout the whole season or whatever. But I don't know if you caught this, Rob, but in this week's episode there was a lot of reference of I studied, and then
Yeah, they do talk a lot about
I
their
was like, when
studying.
did you study? And then because the one girl that had gotten bugs, she inherited bugs last week. She was like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, I've been studying the bugs." And I'm like, "When the hell did this girl study bugs?" And then at one point someone said, "Yeah, last night I studied." And so I'm like, "Okay, so the first episode, and there was at least a night between the first episode and the second episode. Now, maybe
Hmm.
they bang out like episode 2, 3, and 4 or whatever in one day, and they don't have like a night between every single filming. But in the very least, it seemed like after the first episode, people had a night to themselves to study. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I would love to know a little bit more about the, production behind the
for
scenes of
sure.
how this all,
It's gotta be
comes
such a
to be.
cheap show to produce,
Yeah,
right?
well, The Floor is very impressive.
Okay. One of my favorite things about this show is it is visually interesting to watch, and it's because there's pictures.
Mhm.
Because I will say I enjoyed I was more engaged watching the pictures on the screen and like that part visually engaged, but also as opposed to like watching someone sing. I guess like I just find like visually is more engaging than auditory apparently.
Mhm.
But also the music and the sound effects and like the visual
Ooh.
effects, it's giving Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yes, yes, I could see that.
It's
Yeah.
giving like early 2000s reality game
Yes,
shows. Like it's giving The Weakest Link, like that vibe, and I love it.
we're back. Yeah,
We're
and
back.
so 81 people each have an area of expertise. The randomizer goes, it lights up your square, and then
Mhm.
you have to take on a neighboring person in their area of expertise.
Yes. Yes. And so
People do
and,
not want to get picked by the randomizer.
no, that's where I will say, some people just get screwed. Because you could have a really like kind of obscure special interest and potentially be safe for a while because
Mhm.
people will not pick that because they're like, what the hell? But if the randomizer selects you and you're
Yeah.
forced
You're
to
on the back
then
foot.
challenge someone,
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do about that. So that part's rough. The other thing I wanted to ask, your thoughts on, because you do have to challenge someone neighboring, and that can get more complicated as the game goes on, depending on how much of the board you've started to take over. What do you think about the people that are on the edge? Because it's a 9x9 square.
Oh, do you think
And
it's
I
an
remember
advantage or a disadvantage to be on the edge?
that's what I wanted to ask your thought, because I think there was one person in the first episode who got like the randomizer, and they were on the outside, so they had less neighbors to start. Where at least if you are not on the edge and you get randomizer, you have one more option.
Yeah.
I guess that's just
Well,
the name of the game. But like, how did they decide where to place people?
so the floor is a season-long competition, but it's also a competition for each day, because the
Yes.
person who, after you knock somebody out, you take over their square. And
Mhm.
so it's a little bit like a game of like Risk or Othello, where you're trying to take up like as much real estate as you
Yes.
can on the board. The person with the most squares at the end of a given episode wins $20,000. But the person at the end of the season, I guess the last person standing,
Last
is
person
going to
standing.
take home $250,000. So I
Yeah.
guess, Jenny, you could potentially like not play the whole season, have go up against somebody with 99 squares or as 80 squares, and
Yeah.
then if you beat them, you win the show.
Yeah.
Like
And
they
that's
like the
where
person who has beaten 80 people like goes up to you in your area of expertise, which happens to be like a periodic table of elements.
yeah.
And if they don't know it, they don't know it.
Then you it's like Chris Underwood coming and making a fire
Yeah.
and sniping. you know? Like, this person didn't even play. They've just been hanging out in the corner the whole time. They just came
Mhm.
in.
Not my
Um
floor winner.
I mean, but that is still a viable strategy, and that's why I think that this is an interesting show, in that, like, there's so many different ways that you can go with choosing what your top, or what your special interest, or whatever
Mhm.
your specialty is. And ultimately, it might not even end up mattering, because you might not even ever get a chance to prove that category if you get chosen by the randomizer and have to take on someone next to you. But I just, like,
Mhm.
I wondered if they put any thought into where they placed people in on the floor to start, because did they put like obscure stuff like around the edges, so that,
I don't
like,
know. We gotta
I
look.
don't
We gotta look.
know, because it's like, yeah, it's very interesting, and I
I'll
love
see if
like
I
the
can
overhead
bring up over
shots of
here
it.
if I could bring up an overhead shot of the board.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they it's visually, like, I don't know, it's made for people like me that, like, need a visual aid. And it's also very family friendly. Like, it's like
My
getting
kids were
everything.
loving the floor.
It is a family show, and not in, like, you know, a corny way, it's in, like, in a way that it's like the barrier for entry is low.
Mhm.
And there's something for everyone.
Yes. Okay, Jenny, let me ask the question that everybody who's listening is wondering. What is your area of expertise?
Keep wondering, baby, because, like, I am still stuck. I'm stuck because here's the reality of this, Rob. There is one reason why I think I would be good at this show, and there is one reason why I think I would be terrible at this show. The reason that I think I would be good at this show is I think I have a little bit of, like, jack of all trades, master of none kind
Mhm.
of energy, in that, like, I kind of know like, enough to get by about a bunch of different things. Um which means I don't really have, like, one very intense. I kind of just, like, start getting interested in something and go a little bit into it, and then eventually, like, I see a shiny object and I've moved on. Um
Mhm.
s- so that's a bit of the problem, but I do think I know, like, I have a working enough knowledge of a lot of things that I did okay. Like, that's a great thing about the show. You can play along. You can play along with all the categories. So I would do okay. I think I could probably hold my own. The reason I would be terrible at this show,
Yes.
I choke under
Oh.
pressure. I timed things, my brain blank. Like I know things, and if I know that it's being called upon me in a quick moment, I don't have any faith. Because what really also helps you in this game, not only knowing a little bit about everything, it's being calm under pressure and being confident. Like
Mhm.
just going up there and being like, I know these things. Like because as soon as you start gapping out or just kind of blanking, and then you panic, you're
Can't
wasting
panic
seconds.
on the
You're
floor.
wasting seconds because you only have 45 seconds
Yep.
and whoever's 45 seconds runs out first, you're eliminated. And
Yeah,
I just think
basically,
that
both
is why
players
I do
have a
that.
countdown clock, and when you
Yes.
get the question right, it goes back to the other person, but as you are
Yeah.
trying to think of the answer, you are losing time, and if you pass, you lose 3 seconds.
Yes. Yeah. So if you
Like
know for sure you don't have it, you can skip or pass or whatever, but you're basically saying, "Okay, take 3 seconds off." Which
yes.
if you think you're gonna take forever trying to come up with it, sure, that's maybe good. But if you're passing and passing and passing, you're just gonna lose.
Yep. But Jenny, you have not told us yet what your category would be.
Here's the thing. Okay. And I just don't know if this can be a category because we saw them get a little creative with what they did with some of these.
Mhm.
I'm good at like word things. Like any sort of word game, I'm good. Like anagrams, I'm really good at. Like any sort of word puzzle type thing, that is
Okay.
that is what I'm best at. Um but I don't know how you turn that into a category.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
think I could,
that's not a category. It's like a type of game they would ask. Okay.
but they could
Oh,
technically do that though, because they could. I don't know.
all right.
We saw them do like blanks.
Yeah.
I need to
I
do
got
some
a
more
pretty
soul
good
searching on
overhead
this.
shot of the whole
Okay.
screen here. Okay? All
If
right.
people think I have a specialty just based on what they've heard from me,
All
let me
right.
know because maybe I'm just doubting my
And
specialty.
they don't re-randomize the things. The
No,
things
you
are in this
stay in your
okay.
spot. Yeah.
So, I would not say that the edges are particularly obscure. The
Okay.
top row of people, they are international foods,
Okay.
college teams, Oscar
Okay.
winners, spices and
Mhm.
condiments,
Yo,
moguls. What a loser that
what's
somebody's like, "Yeah, I'm an
mogul?
expert in moguls. I know everything about moguls." Like, do you think that
Like,
some people came in with, like, a bunch of things and they just said, like, "All right, well, we already have
well, some
somebody
already
who
have
does
that.
movie trivia. You're gonna get moguls."
I wonder if they make you give like a list of like 5 or like 10 things
Yeah,
and
I
then
think
they
so.
assign it to you.
Then somebody had comedians, reality TV,
Okay.
barbecue, and hip hop.
Hmm.
That's the top edge.
I I am a saucy girl. I love condiments. So
Yes. I
maybe
don't
I
know if
could do spices
condiments
and
is up
condiments.
there. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, some of the most rando things. Nepo babies is one of the categories. We have not s
Yeah.
Nepo
So
babies has not yet been picked.
it came up a lot because I think it was like
Nobody has
around.
taken it.
Yeah. I mean, that's such a like that's a specific like subtype of celebrity,
Yeah.
really.
Somebody's
There's the guy that has fashion icons. Like
fashion
that's
icon
again, it's
yeah.
like
Somebody's, category is bathroom items. That's their expertise.
just things you would find in a bathroom.
Yes.
Like what is that person's package going to be where
Whoa.
like they introduce that's in the bathroom.
Yeah. Is it
Um
the lawnmower 3.0?
like what do they say when Rob Lowe asks them like, oh, "Okay, like so bathroom items, tell me about that." And they're like, I have IBS. I spend a lot of time in the
Mhm.
bathroom. When I'm in there, I'm just looking at what's in the room."
Yeah. Another person has junk drawer items.
Like, what?
I almost feel
It's
like that
just
they
gonna
had the 81 categories and they're like, "All right, everybody go stand on a square that
rank
you think
them
you
or
know about."
something.
Somebody's is brunch.
Just items on a menu at
Mimosa,
brunch. I would be
eggs
good at
benedict.
that. Brunch
Yeah.
is my favorite meal to go out for.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you've got, and that's the thing is like, how do they decide how to make any of these like an even enough playing field? Maybe they just
Yeah.
don't.
I
But like,
really think that they like they had the contestants and then they just had like, okay, go in the room and pick something that you could live with.
do you think they did it like Squid Game style, where like they all had to decide on their categories
Yeah.
together,
I
and
think so.
like
Like some of these
put
categories
your hand on
TV
it?
show locations. Like you tell me that somebody said,
What?
I am an expert in all TV show locations.
Like, maybe if you work for a production company or something that, like, is, I guess if that's your specialty, but, like, what,
Mhm.
how are they gonna, it's just gonna be pictures of, like, cities? Or,
I
like,
think it's probably gonna be like they'll put up on the
stills
screen
from
like
the
Frasier,
show?
and then you have to
Yeah.
say like
Okay,
what
it's, oh,
city the
Seattle,
sitcom is
yeah.
in.
Okay, that's not that bad then, because,
Yeah.
and there was the one category we saw, I think it was in the first episode, where it was, like, songs about places, and
Yeah.
really it just ended up being a fill in the blanks for, like, I think
Mhm.
that kinda stuff, again, I think I would probably be okay with, because it's, like, word association almost.
Yeah.
So you can do stuff where it's just words, it's not really a picture. They can picturize things that aren't
Right.
really pictures, you know?
Somebody's category is kitchenware.
Okay. I mean, that's less weird to me than bathroom items or
Mhm.
junk drawer items.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, a whisk. Like, if you're a chef and you know all of the items, because there will be some like obscure things in there.
Mhm. Yeah. So, um, yeah, lots of fun categories. I like my theory that they've just basically they had the 81 categories ready to go, and then the people just
Yeah.
showed up, and then it's like, all right, you're gonna be your one hit wonders.
I think that maybe it wasn't quite that random, but maybe something in the middle where it's like they had maybe more than 81 options. Maybe they
Mhm.
had 100 or something. And they had people rank them, like do it in a list.
Yeah.
And they found a way to like go through it and try to give people something that was high on their list, but also make sure that there was enough variance in like, so that there was going to be people that just were going to lose. Like, you know, so that not everyone was like, I'm good at everything. And like, it's just, you're just watching, you know, it's just
Mhm.
like a time competition and everyone knows everything.
Jenny, let's talk about the actual episodes we watched. We watched 2 episodes of The Floor to get ready,
Yeah.
and now that we sort of have a basis of understanding, um, but it goes by very fast.
It flew by. I will
There
say
are a lot of commercials, I feel like.
there are so, okay, so I watched the first episode, on, like, 1.5, and I also, like,
Mhm.
put the commercials on, like, 3x, to speed through the commercials,
Yeah.
and so maybe that one felt like it went by real fast, and then the second episode, I watched on 1x, and I had to watch the commercials because I was casting it to my TV, and I can't do the
Yes.
speed up on the TV.
Yes.
And I did feel like every time I turned around, there was another fucking commercial. Sorry, I'm like,
Yes.
but that's how I felt, right? Like I was like, geez, like it seemed like there were more commercials in the second episode than the first. I don't know if that's the case. If maybe it was just my experience, but a lot of stop and go.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
they could
And
probably fit a couple more rounds in, right?
I feel like it, but I guess they can only do so many questions like an episode. I don't know
Yeah,
how many episodes there's gonna be. So,
I don't know
actually, on
either.
Wikipedia, they have all the categories, and they have the people who have those categories, and we can tell how many
Oh,
people have been eliminated so
there's a
far.
Wikipedia. It's been, so I think it
Yes.
was 7 on the first episode, 8 in the second.
Yes. So we're
Okay.
down to, I guess, by
66?
process of elimination, like, how many episodes are gonna be in the season? What, 8?
Yeah, because they, unless
10?
it gets
I guess it's
slower
probably
at the
10.
end and they eliminate less people.
Yeah.
The Wikipedia doesn't tell us how many episodes?
I don't think it says how many episodes.
Okay.
Yes. It does tell us
Oh,
it's
this
a
is from the
43 minute.
Netherlands. It's
Yes.
originated, okay.
Yeah, it is an
Oh, in
imported
2023.
concept, but so is
But only
Survivor,
from
so is Big Brother.
2023.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
it's a John DeMol. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Um, but it's still very modern. Only started in 2023. Oh
Mhm.
my god, there's so many versions already.
Yeah.
We're late to the
Everybody's
game.
everybody's in on the floor, okay?
It's a fun concept. It's a fun way to take a trivia style
Yeah.
game and make it a little bit more interesting.
Oh, okay. So, we do have the dates, that how long do you think that it
Hmm.
took to film this?
Um, 6 days.
5 days, August 2nd to August 6th, and they filmed it
Okay.
in Bray, Ireland. So I guess that they have it's almost
Oh,
like The Circle, like, they
wait.
have the
Oh,
set
they had it
of
set.
the
Okay.
floor, right? And
Yeah.
so it's like, how many different countries' versions of the floor can we
Exact
get?
same set. And
Yes.
so it's cheaper to just fly all of the contestants out and have them stay in a hotel or whatever for a couple of
Mhm.
days than to build the set in the US.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, imagine you flew all the way to Ireland, and then you're like you play 1 game and then you're eliminated.
That's great. Then you have multiple days to go look at
I guess so.
Ireland, I guess. Go to the
Yeah.
freaking pub. I don't
Like
know.
Squid Game.
Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
I think there are worse listen, I'm biased. I'm Irish, but I think there are worse places to get like, you know, a couple days of vacation. I'm sure that do you think that they have to pay for the hotel after they get eliminated? They're
No,
like, "All
I
right,
think
the flight for everyone isn't for a couple days. You gotta just hang back, pay for
they
your
get
own
a free
hotel."
ride.
Yeah. And that's wild though, because that's a lot of people, but I guess
Mhm.
still cheaper than creating your own version.
Yeah,
Or
you
maybe
can't
this is a test. This is the trial run. They use the set in Ireland, see what the reception is, and if it's a smash hit, you know what America's doing. They're building their own. They're
No,
gonna say,
we're gonna
"We'll do
build
it."
our own floor?
Yeah.
No, they've
Why
already got a good
not?
one here. Just get everybody to Ireland, it's fine.
But maybe it's not sustainable to do it like because
Mhm.
I think that if you have that part figured out, this is a cheap show to
Yeah.
produce.
The only thing I'll say is little cheapo depot to go 81 squares. Give us 100. Come on. 10 rows of
Yeah.
10. What are we doing 9 rows of 9?
Do you feel like maybe they just couldn't, like, fit that many I don't know, like, was there is like a camera shot thing where it's like you can't visually
I don't
get
know.
that? I don't know. Is there
Maybe it would be
something I
too
don't
many
know
episodes
about
in the season.
why not yeah, why 9 by 9 is more
Mhm.
interesting?
I don't know, but
I
I
don't know.
like this. It's a game show, but we're gonna come back and see these people every week.
Which I I don't hate that, because here's the thing, when you start and this was part of my criticism of We Are Family, and I guess maybe there's a chance that We Are Family also continued with the same people, but it's like when
No,
you have a big cast like that,
maybe in the
cast or
audience.
whatever,
Yeah.
audience or whatever. But we have like a big amount of participants like that. Like, not everyone is going to be, this person was born to be on TV. So, but people you the more you see people, the more of their personality you see, the more of a vested interest. It's like when somebody goes on a run on Jeopardy or whatever. Like, these are just normies, these are just regular people, but the more you see them and whatever, you get more of a vested interest in them and their
Mhm.
character or whatever. So I actually don't hate it as I think I would like the show less if every episode, it was 81 new people that didn't care about. Like,
Mhm.
I am invested in where does Tom go from here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is every one of them someone I'm going to care about? No. But I did have emotional responses to some of these people.
Okay. What are you, a Tom stan or a Jasper stan?
Oh boy. I think I don't know if I'm standing either of them. I will say, there was one person that I did not care for,
Oh,
and I was
who?
happy when they were eliminated.
Who?
This
Which
man
person?
this man named Charles.
Charles, the college teacher.
Is that what he was? I don't remember.
Yes.
I just remember he
And
wouldn't
his
shake
area of
Tom's
expertise was
hand.
toys. Yes.
He wouldn't shake Tom's hand. And then
Hmm.
Tom beat his ass. And that was the moment I started to root for Tom
Yeah.
because Chuck was such an asshole.
Is that
Like
his area of expertise?
being a jerk? I guess
Yeah.
so. Toys? No, it's the jerk store that you go to, that you belong to. They
The jerk
called
store
and they
called.
ran
Yeah.
out of him. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, I just thought, bro, it's a silly trivia picture show on Fox. Like, get over yourself. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
Charles, if you're listening, I'm sorry, but
Sorry,
like,
Charles.
you made good TV, I guess. You made me feel something. I was mad when he would not shake this man's hand. He was just like, hey, like, may the best man win. Like, shake my hand. And
Mhm.
Charles just said no. He just looked this man in the face and said, I'm not shaking your hand. He's trying to put on, like, because they're all trying to have fun with it. Some of them are like doing this intense stare and stuff. I just felt like Charles took it a little too far, refused to shake Tom's hand. And let me tell you, we've heard of Taylor's karma. I'm telling you, there's such thing in the floor as
Tom's karma?
Tom's karma. And Tom's karma got his ass, okay? Shake this man's hand next time,
Yeah, how
or
about
he's
that?
coming for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not like hardcore standing Tom, but I mean, pretty impressive run for him.
Pretty impressive run for Tom. Um, I was a little confused about when they end up like they beat somebody and it's like, okay, now you've inherited this person's thing.
Yep.
It's like if you stop playing, then you have to defend that category. Is that
Yes.
what that
Okay.
is?
So basically, so Rob, let's say like my category is like
Waterfowl.
90s waterfowl, or I was gonna say 90s alternative bands. I don't know why. And I get the randomizer.
Yeah.
Or sorry, no. I get challenged by someone
Okay.
who got the random. Say you got the randomizer and yours is like reality TV hosts.
Okay.
And you take me on. You say, I know a lot about 90s alternative bands. You take me on.
I
So
really
then we
don't.
battle. We battle
Yeah.
over 90s alternative bands and you beat me
Okay.
because you were a couple years older than me in the 90s and you just know more. Um
You didn't have
then
to go there, Jenny.
or wait, sorry. Only a couple.
Yeah.
Um we're both coherent.
Mhm.
Um wait, I'm getting this wrong. I beat you, I eliminate you, but now my category goes away because we've done it. So
Yeah.
now my category is reality TV hosts and you go bye-bye. So
Yes.
that's why it's not as simple as just knowing a lot about one thing, because
Mhm.
as soon as your thing gets chosen, it doesn't stay out there. You don't get another chance to do that category. It's played once and then it goes
Yeah.
away. Your new thing becomes whatever you beat someone
I
in.
really hope that somebody who was on the floor listens to this podcast and then like DMs us with a bunch of like, this is actually how it works.
Yeah, I would love we really wanna know how the choosing of the
Yes.
category worked, because I think that we're onto something in that it wasn't just like people just came up with something and then whatever they said, that's what it was.
Mhm.
There was definitely some curating going on.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, Jenny, could we play the floor with with patrons on Zoom? Could this
I
work
don't see why
as
not.
a Zoom game?
I would need someone who's better with like legit like
If we have a
Zoom and
listener
logistics, but I don't see why not.
who's willing to make this,
Yeah.
we should do this. What would
It's
we have? What would be the 5 by 5?
Yeah, it would
We
can
get
you couldn't
25 people
do
to be in
yeah, and
the
then you do
floor.
it in I think it's a really fun
Should we put it
idea.
on the wheel? Is that what's
You
happening?
should. You should put that on the RHAP wheel for sure. That would be such a fun game for you guys to play.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I
Or
don't know if you
or
guys
is
are
it a
just
hit or quit
hosting it.
game? Yeah.
Well, I mean, Are we doing games now? I love games.
Sure. If we could get somebody to help us make the things, because really we would
Yeah.
have to we would have to what I'm saying is my theory of what this is somebody is making up the 25 categories.
Yeah, and
Okay.
getting the images ready for each thing.
Right. And hypothetically, I think it would probably work with 4x4. I think we could do
Yeah.
it with 16 people.
Yeah, do a mini
And there's 16
version.
categories of pictures. And then basically everybody just take the one that you think you know the best. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody put in your ranked
Rank
MVP
them.
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam
And then we'll
Moore will
give them out.
decide. So
Yes.
blame him.
And then let's do it.
I think it would be so fun. Here's the thing. I loved watching it. I loved thinking about what I would do and how I would play it and all of that. I don't think I would be good at it.
Yeah. Well,
I think that I'm not a stupid person. Like I do know things, but I freeze up sometimes when
yeah.
when the pressure is on and being called upon something. Like I need my knowledge to come out organically, you know?
Jenny,
It's like
let's talk through the categories we watched in
yes,
these
okay.
couple of episodes.
Yeah.
Okay. What were the highlights and what were the lowlights?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I some of them
What was
were
the
funnier
best one
than
that you had throughout these 2
like
episodes?
what one was I the best at?
Yes.
I'd actually say there were a few there wasn't one where I got every single one. Um but or like I didn't get it before it was revealed to me,
Yeah.
right? Cuz then that's not really getting it. But I would say I was pretty good at the songs with locations in them.
Yes. Okay.
Um, I also like
I like that they
vegetables was
keep you on your toes, that sometimes it's just pictures, sometimes it's a little bit of different
yeah.
format.
Also, I found that I knew enough about some things that I didn't think I knew. Like even
Mhm.
the sci-fi one, like I would steer clear of sci-fi like absolutely. Like it would be the last thing that I would go near. And
Yeah.
I even knew some of the
Yeah.
the people, like some of the characters. I was like, "Oh my god." So if it just land because you're going back and forth, right?
Mhm.
If you're getting the right ones come up, like if you're
Yep.
getting like Captain Kirk, if you're getting, you know, Katniss Everdeen or whatever,
Mhm.
like and you just
Rocket
might get
Raccoon.
lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Although at first I was like, "Is it Rocky?" It's Rocket.
Mm.
Um But yeah, I also find I'm pretty good with like brand recognition. So like the
Yeah.
logos, the slogans, like I was pretty good at those sorts of things. I think that like one category I might be good at is like they could do like cosmetic brands or like makeup and it's like the
Yes.
packaging without like the like logo or something or I don't know like they could do so many things like that. I really just love how they turned some of these categories into like visuals because yes, things like dogs and vegetables you can do literally just a picture of that thing. But they had to get a little creative with some of these like the books. They did
Mhm.
like like, they just had a visual of a book, and then they just, like, had it was like a fill in the
Missing word. Yeah.
blanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but some of the categories just more so the categories themselves delivering were just provided some funny moments where, like funny moments in that they were completely relatable, where, like, people just, like, blacked out and just had no idea what, like, very common things were. Um
Mhm.
Which I felt like would be my fate. I forgot what the word table was once, Rob.
You forgot the word table
Yeah,
on
this
this?
is the second time I've brought this story up in, like, a podcast in, like, the last month or 2. I think I also
Mhm.
mentioned this on the B&B. Sometimes you know when just sometimes a common word, your brain just you have a brain fart and you're like, "What is that called when you da 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 da?" I forgot once upon a time what a table was. I was like, "Come on, you know, you, like, you sit at it and so, you know, I just
Yeah.
feel like I
It's
would
almost like
maybe
you're
have that
playing,
ability.
the $25,000 pyramid with yourself.
Yeah.
It's like a thing that you sit at, people
Yes.
eat their breakfast
Yeah.
at,
It's got 4
come
legs.
on!
Ah, yeah, yeah. That's literally what my brain does to me sometimes.
Yeah.
So, I like, when when they did tools in the first episode, and they didn't know what nails were.
Yeah, screws.
They didn't know what nails were. That was really funny. Someone called pliers tweezers. Just little things like that, which under pressure in a high stress situation where you got to be quick, clock is ticking, money's on the line. I could understand making those mistakes because the brain is very complicated.
So I killed it at cereal.
Oh, yeah.
So
I will
good.
say I was good at a lot of the cereal, and then we got into a bunch that we don't have in Canada. Because I saw them after, and I'm like,
yeah,
what the
did
hell
not
is
know
that?
muselix.
Muselix?
Yeah.
The hell is muselix? And we also don't have, what was one of the other, like one of the, because even we don't have like Count Chocula, but I knew that one, obviously. There were a couple other ones that we don't have, but I recognize them. But then there were a few where I'm like, never heard of this in my life. You guys call corn pops sugar pops? Is that what they were called?
No, I think we have corn pops and then we have honey smacks.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Maybe.
It's honey smacks. I've never heard of honey smacks in my life.
Yeah.
That sounds like a slang word for like a street drug or something.
Whoa.
Give me some
Well,
of
I mean, smack is
honey smacks.
Yeah.
Well, smack is, but like it's like a type of drug,
Yeah.
The honey smacks.
Jenny,
shouldn't be advertised to children.
Yes, I see that you have the Arctic Monkeys
yes!
t-shirt on.
I put it on for a reason, baby. Oh, yes. I'm so glad you noticed, Rob. I wasn't sure. That was my test for you.
2 weeks in a row that the hit or quit gods have brought you something in your wheelhouse.
Exactly. Yes. So that one I found pretty easy. The bands, because I wasn't sure how they were going to, was it just going to be pictures of members? Pictures of members. Somebody get Dr. Mike on the line. That's
hey,
his specialty.
Knock, knock. Yeah.
Knock, knock. I'm on the floor. I didn't know what they were gonna do for bands, but they did like a cool little like visual puzzle type thing where it's like a visual representation of the name. So you had like a bunch of monkeys in the Arctic. It's Arctic monkeys. There was like a stone rolling down a hill, rolling stones. Like, it was clever. I liked that. And it's not often that one of my favorite bands is being is a category on a game show on mainstream television.
I have to be honest, I am not familiar with the work of the Arctic Monkeys.
Oh, okay. So they're from the UK. They've been around a long time. And they're very fun. I don't know. They're so good. They're so good. There were a couple other bands that I really like and I've seen live. Like there was Vampire Weekend. Like, what was some of the other ones? Like it wasn't all like classic rock. Like you see that and you're like, okay, you're gonna get Rolling Stones. You're gonna get the ones everyone knows. Like you're gonna get the Beatles. You're gonna get I can't even remember some of the options, but there were like a few more like contemporary, like 2000 and later bands. So I thought it was good. Were you good at that category?
The bands?
Yeah.
No, I think I did really well at that one.
They mentioned Arcade Fire. That's a Canadian band.
Yes.
That was like and I think it's probably fun to come up with the graphics for this, where it's like trying to come up with things that you can make the clues for. I think that's a fun part.
Yeah. Did not like the bugs.
I hated the bugs. I would have been like poor Natalia, who inherited the bugs and is terrified of bugs, and then had to study them so that she.
How did they study? Is it like Claim to Fame?
Probably just went on Google.
And we thought that there was like a room on Claim to Fame where they had like books and stuff, but
yeah, but
I don't know if that was really. Gabriel said that wasn't really a thing.
So again, after the first episode, it sounds like there was a night between. So maybe the first day of filming was a long one. They just did the one episode. They must have gone back to their hotels, and I'm sure they have their phones. So do you think that Natalia that night just
the person
was
next
on
to me is
Google? Yeah.
one-hit wonders. Let me look them
Yeah.
all up.
Well, that's the thing, because like one, if you played that day and you inherited a new category that you had not come in prepared for, you
Mhm.
definitely should study that, because you are going to have to do it at some point, probably.
Yeah, so Jenny, maybe they film 2 episodes a day.
Yeah.
If there's gonna be like 8 or 10 episodes,
So I think
and
they
they
did the first
film.
one was one day, and then they started like banging through a couple in a day.
You think so? Because that
Yeah.
one guy is wearing the same suit,
But
but maybe
that
it took
might
a
just
long
be,
time to film the first one.
or maybe did you notice if other people were wearing the same outfit? Was Jasper wearing his same outfit?
I I
You might
do
just,
not recall.
because the thing is, like, that guy just has a very memorable pink suit, so you might just be like, "Oh, he's wearing that very memorable pink suit again," but maybe they're all in the same clothes. Like,
I
maybe
think
they,
they're all in the same clothes
which
so far.
is fine if there's that many of them, like.
Ironically, yeah, the guy who's wearing the pink suit is, his area of expertise is fashion icons.
Exactly. And I think that he's long game. Is
Mhm.
there the floor edgic? Because
I
I
don't
have a
know.
candidate for
Yes? Who?
like, I think listen, Jacqueline's story is not over. Do you remember Jacqueline?
Jacqueline. Remind me of
Jacqueline
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline was the one who was challenged by Anne. Anne was the girl from
Yeah, okay,
Fargo.
yes, yes.
And then
T
Jacqueline
TV
had TV
hosts was
hosts.
her area of expertise,
But we
yes.
got, like, a little bit more confessional stuff from her where Jacqueline's like, "It's kinda like chess, and I play effing chess." And, like, we got, like, some, like, I don't know, we just got, like, a few sound bites from Jacqueline
Hmm.
where she's like,
Yeah,
it just feels like it was giving, like,
yeah.
like, queen, mother, she's coming back, like.
She was a little shady, Jenny, towards there's this one guy that his thing is technology, and she's like, "Well, that guy, he looks like he's seen a lot of technology over in his time, am I right?"
It was like when I said that you were a couple years older than me in the 90s, right?
Yeah,
Same thing, same
same
thing.
thing. Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, like, she's the diva, but she played it interestingly, like, she inherits, so she beats Anne, and Anne came in
Mhm.
hot. She's like, "I'm a trivia champion. There's no reason I shouldn't just win this whole thing." Which it's like, "Oh, that's not a good clip to get, you know?
Yeah.
If we get that, she's going home." It's like the classic Survivor editor. As soon as someone starts talking themselves up, it's like, "Oh, good episode." Um, so Anne gets eliminated. Jacqueline inherits musicals, and Rob Lowe loves asking people how they feel about the category they've inherited. And emergent gameplay from Jacqueline here, where she says, "I'm not going to reveal how, like, either way." She's
Yeah.
stone faced. She's not letting the rest of them know whether she feels good or bad about musicals, because either way, if there's a question of it, that gives them reason to avoid her for a little while, because it's like, I don't know either way. I thought that was genius, and she makes the decision to go back to the floor, because that's the other element that they have to,
Mhm.
decide on, where it's like, okay, you want a duel, and you have the choice to stay up and challenge somebody else, or you can return back to the floor, and i- the 20K per day is like, staring you in the face. It's like, "Oh, do you want some, like, quick cash,
Yeah.
or do you want to stay in it for the long haul?" And Jacqueline says, like, "I'm going to fly under the radar. Like, I'm trying to
Yeah.
win the whole thing."
But I think that was smart because she's all the way on the other side of the board. Like I'm looking at
Mhm.
her where she is. She's all the way on the left-hand side where
Yep.
Jasper is like up in the it's like the Game of
The
Thrones.
upper
Yeah,
the upper right,
he's
yeah.
in the upper right-hand corner.
Yeah.
And I'm not
It's
sure
like it
where Tom
no,
is.
that all of
Tom is
the he's on the lower right. So,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So, all of
Yeah, he was
the
dealing
big
with
plots,
yeah,
Greg.
toys and sci-fi and stuff that
Yeah,
was
so there
going
was
on
3
down
guys
there.
on the right side that had really started picking up some territory, and it was Jasper and
Yeah.
then Greg, who got ultimately eliminated by Tom.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on the right side of the
Yeah.
board. Jacqueline's chilling over on the left.
Jasper and Tom are on a collision course, I think.
Oh yeah. Do you think
Yeah.
that's coming to
So
a head soon?
yeah, so for this person that her Jacqueline,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like she's not gonna get 5 right. She has like mathematically, she can't even get more than Jasper or Tom in this episode. There's
Exactly.
only
If you're
like
not
2
even
rounds
close
left.
enough to pick
Yeah.
up multiples at a time, because you
So
still have
it's
to
not
choose
like
someone
yeah.
that you're connected to on the board.
So and I was gonna say that the woman at the end of the episode, who got
Adina?
eliminated, Adina, who took
Yeah.
on Tom. Yeah, I guess that
Mhm.
made sense that like I'm like, oh, well, he said
Yeah, go for
sci-fi
broke.
was his area of expertise, but if she beats him, she gets the 20K.
Yeah, like, that's, like, an easy buck, and he could have been bluffing. That's the
Yeah.
other thing. It's interesting. You can just lie and be like, "Oh, I really know this thing," and hope that people avoid you because of it, or you know what I mean? I just thought it was, like, the fact that listen, it's not the most strategic thing you'll ever watch in your entire life, but it
I
was a
thought it was.
game show
Mhm.
with the potential of a strategic element. There were decisions to make. You could deceive, like, you have to make choices. I don't know.
Yeah,
I really had a good time with this, Rob, if it's
we
not
did. We love the
evident.
floor. All
Yeah.
right, so we'll be watching. I don't know if we'll be podcasting more about the floor unless we hear from some of the contestants, but
Yeah. It's
we
kinda
loved it.
hard to say because it's like how much can you say each like, week to week? It's like, "Oh, let's do a deep dive in, like, how many more pieces
I'm glad
Jasper
we talked
picked up."
about it. I loved it.
But I think that it's an interesting new concept for a show that is worth talking about, for the people that had already watched it, and also the people that haven't watched it yet, to give them a little bit of an insight on, like, what it was to check it out,
Mhm.
because there's not a lot of TV on right now. If
Yeah,
you want like an easy, light, fun evening watch game show, listen, can't
yeah.
recommend it more.
And we would like more because basically we don't have a thing to hit or quit next week.
Yeah, it's like a weird time. Like everything is in February. Like reality TV, like the networks were just like January, take a hike. You
Mhm.
you get nothing. I mean, obviously there's stuff going on like the traders, like, what else is happening? There's that new show that's on Netflix. There's things happening, but they have other homes. Where's the weird shit, Like where's the stuff for Rob and Jenny?
Mhm.
What
Such a good question.
what are we hitting? What are we quitting, babes? Like what's happening here?
Yeah. So, we don't know what we're gonna cover. If you have an idea for us to cover something, let us know
Yeah.
at Rob Cesternino, at Jenny Autumn. Let us know, and we'll be back. Otherwise, if we have no new show to talk about next week, I think we're gonna
We'll
take a
just
bye week.
take a pause. Good things come to those that wait, I think is what
Mhm.
people say. But if there's something that we have had a blind spot to, I would love to know about it. There's definitely stuff coming down the pipe, and I'm very excited to see what's coming down the pipe. But it seems like next week is a little light. So if nothing comes up, then maybe we just do a little baby Yachtis.
Little baby Giannis. Okay.
But I will
All
say,
right.
like, props to the hit or quit, like, people that people were mentioning the floor before we even really, got ourselves tuned into it. So
Yeah.
that's why we rely on the people. This is
All right.
the people's podcast.
The People's Podcast. That's right. Because we hit or quit based on what the people are telling us.
Yeah,
Um,
we care.
Jenny, what's coming up for you?
Rob, this is in terms of podcasting right now, like this is really what's going on. It's a very busy time in my day job, so it's probably for the best. That January is a little bit lighter. We had a very fun time on the weekend
Mhm.
doing the Traders RHAP. If anyone has been under a rock and hasn't checked that out, check that out on YouTube. It was like 5 hours. Very, very fun time. Other than that, I'm just enjoying the new year. I'm not a big new year like person, like new year, new me kind of person, but I will
Yes.
say I feel like really good like about how this year has started.
Yes. Okay.
So, yeah. I don't know. I
That's
just
that's
feel
great.
I feel refreshed.
Mhm.
And so I hope that it's a great year for Hit or Quit too. I hope that we get some good shows or
Yeah,
bad shows that are good to talk
I
about.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
I think we got a lot of fun stuff coming in February.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's okay. We're already what, 10 days into January?
Mhm.
We can figure it out.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I had a good time. I had a good time with the floor. It was really fun.
We love the floor. Okay.
Yeah.
So let us know what you want to see us cover next time here on Hit or Quit. Until then, I'm Rob Cesternino. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.